Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. We're here with the Vampire Counts, going to be taking on the Lizardmen, and this is a matchup that I have been getting some questions recently about from a few people. One of them is Dutch Skink, who is currently playing the Lizardmen, and yeah, it's a matchup that's generally perceived to be in favor of the Lizardmen. A lot of people would say, you know, Terrorgeist cycle charging, and yes, there's certainly something to be said for that, especially with the Blood Dragon Lord. But I decided to go in a little bit of a different direction. Some of you may have seen this build on this channel before, but this is my Kemmler Infantry Bone Tonia build. And Kemmler, are you at least wearing slippers? Okay, he is at least wearing slippers. I was going to say, it's got to be hot in your feet. But anyway, the build here is that Kemmler doesn't have spells. He's just got the Chaos Tomb Blade for AoE regeneration plus 5 melee attack, and it does resurrect models very critically. We've also got Krell, of course. He's going to be standing in the little kill box of Stearnsman. We've got a White King and an Unholy Lodestone plus the Claw of Nagash. As for the rest of the build, we've got tons of chaff, tons of zombies, skeleton spears. The spells, of course, Invocation of the Heck, Raise Dead, and Dance Macabre, all going to be on the Necromancer Corpse Cart here. Whoops, this is just the basic Corpse Cart. No Unholy Lodestone, that's just going to be the one over there. For some other elites, we've got 2 units of Blood Knights and the Chill Geis. For Dutch Skink's Lizardman here, he's got Tehenowin, Solar Engine, plus the Thunderous one, so 3 heavy dinos as to be expected, 2 Skink Chief Bros on foot, couple of Temple Guards, including the Star Chamber Guardians, cohort of Sotek, and a unit of Horned Ones. So Star Chamber Guardians, Bastildon with Solar Engine all have magic attacks. Obviously the Thunderous one has an AoE magic attack, as does Tehenowin with his orbital, strike from the Engine of the Gods there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to try and make these Chill Guys work here, but potentially we can keep them online and fighting. The idea here is that we're just going to YOLO pretty much straight in with some of these various units. The Claw of Nagash is a very expensive unit, but it's kind of a distraction here. Distraction Mortis Engine, if you will. The White King also rushes in to act as a little bit of a line breaker, and then here comes all of the chaff just soaking in here, getting in, starting to tie these various units down. You can see the Blood Knights taking some blasts from the Solar Engines, but that's not a big deal. If we can get a direct charge onto those Horned Ones and just take them out as quickly as possible, that's going to be pretty ideal. You can see I am moving in to do just that. Tehenowin standing around, kind of getting involved in this blob fight a little bit, but we do throw in a Dance Macabre here on this big fight, where you can see the Star Chamber Guardians are fighting. Get a nice charge here. Invocation of the Heck as well, just to make sure those Blood Knights stay nice and healthy, and you can see those Horned Ones just get melted there. Not super quickly, but it is going to happen. A nice orbital bombardment, though, from Tehenowin. Nope. Looks like it actually got canceled out a little bit there because of the Manticore summon, but now being sent as the Manticore summon also gets popped. This should come in and do a ton of damage to my kill box, which is actually really, really bad for me. You can see the Stearnsmen in particular are a very important unit here for that. Their combat stats, 44, 50, plus heavy anti-infantry damage. They are going to be very important for taking down these Star Chamber Guardians, but with this multiple healing effects, we can hopefully keep them sustained. So just kind of quickly, I don't normally slow down, but I just want to quickly take note here. So they've got their innate regeneration, Unholy Lodestone, Chaos Tomb Blade, Reliquary Binding, that's from the Mortis Engine. They've also got the Curse of Undeath from spells being cast every so often. And yeah, so they have enough healing effects to definitely out-heal that crumbling damage, no problem. As long as they don't take too much more burst from a big, like, Stegodon charge or something. You can see Krell's in here fighting. So we'll zoom in close for some Krell cam as he fights it out with Tehenowin here. You know, the Star Chamber Guardians, they're like, ooh, we've got these cool glowy halberds. And then Krell's like, here, let me show you this axe I got. Oh, he didn't even get staggered there. Wow, Krell just absolutely chatting it up here against the Thunderous one and against Tehenowin, doing some nice damage to Tehenowin. You can see another overcast, the Invocation of the Heck there, specifically on the Stearnsmen, just because I really don't want to lose them. I need that high-value unit into the late game here. But if we take a look, where did the Chill Guys go? I haven't really been highlighting them much. They've just been kind of been charging around, hitting isolated units. Same thing with these Blood Knights. Again, they're all kind of shock cavalry units to a degree. I don't want all of them, sitting and fighting in sustained combat for too long. Like, especially I don't want the chill guys fighting the Thunderous one in melee. Fighting Tehenowin or, like, rear charging these Temple Guards isn't too bad. But here we're going to get a nice charge on Tehenowin with the chill guys. Flock of Doom on them is a pretty good choice. Again, a little bit of chip magic damage here and there, anything you can do to try and get rid of them. But again, this is where I have all of my healing effects as well, so the chill guys now will be able to get some of that reliquary binding and various other effects from the things going on. So Krell and the White King going to roll over, try and take out these Temple Guard. You can see the zombies and the Sternsmen also following up. This summoned Feral Manticore had come in and done quite a bit of damage, but there's so much HP that I have on the field here for Dutch King to try and work through. And without the infantry support, these dinos are going to be really exposed to just getting cycle charged to death by cavalry. And you can see we've worn through the Star Chamber Guardians just through sheer HP. We're starting to wear through the second unit of Temple Guards, and even with that exceptionally well-placed, bunker bust, and another really well-placed one here is going to come in and do a ton of damage from Tehenowin. That orbital bombardment just strike right down the line here. Will it be enough to actually pull things back? Got some pretty good connection there, but didn't actually get too much of the Sternsmen. It was mostly like skeleton spears and zombies. I also come in with another upgraded Dance Macabre to juice up the melee attack. These chill guys up to 68 melee attack with good armor piercing damage. Can actually punch pretty hard on those Temple Guard. And of course that chilling aura going to be pretty key in this late game as well. All of my expensive units are still alive, even though they've all taken a horrendous amount of damage. And you can see, despite the fact that all of these monsters still have quite a bit of HP, just the army loss mechanic kicks in, and they all give up the fight, which maybe they could have pulled something out, but I mean, Tehenowin being offline, the leadership of him being gone is a big issue, and these two would have just gotten cycle charged to death by the Blood Knights and the chill guys and so on. So very well played to Dutch Skink. This is kind of one way of going about this matchup where you don't necessarily have to scale very heavily into the cycle charging Terrorgeists and monsters and stuff, because I know not everyone is the biggest fan of that playstyle, me included. Some people do like it, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I like to play more of a traditional kind of like cavalry, just basically more of a traditional Total War army, right? With cavalry, infantry. You don't have any skirmishers, but especially with this one, kind of playing to those support chariots, using those various kind of overlapping buffs to make sure your units stay sustained, and being able to just eat a giant spell like that to the face and continue going is kind of the name of the game for this build, is to win purely through attrition, pretty much. And it ended up working out okay. We don't get to see the kills for Krell, unfortunately, but the White King didn't get a whole lot of numbers, but again, just helping to tank the damage, doing a little bit of chip damage here and there. The Temple Guard and Star Chamber Guardians got quite a bit of kills, only 28 for the Star Chamber Guardians. I kind of would have expected a little bit more, but 188 for Tehenowin, 151 for the Thunderous one. You can see the Bastiladon, the Solar Engine also got some good work done. The Horned ones was a little bit of a rough pick. They just getting face charged by Blood Knights was definitely tough for them. Yeah, maybe it's arguable that should have been just another unit of Temple Guard, potentially. But it's tough to say, having at least one mobility unit, there is certainly something to be said for that. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's tough to say. Likewise, for the Lord choice, I do like the choice of Tehenowin. Mazdamundi is another viable kind of alternative here. Either one of those two would be pretty good. A lot of people tend to pick Mazdamundi just because he has greater arcane conduit. And I mean, he still has a pretty good spell selection. Definitely Tehenowin is a lot of fun though, and that the Engine of the Gods can be very potent against the Vampire Counts. Unfortunately here, I just had enough sustain to just straight up out heal it, which is a little bit tough. But that's just Vampire Counts, that's just kind of how it goes. And with those overlapping healing effects, you don't necessarily have to go into the monsters, but you can even still go into the monsters with that. Like that build I had there, you could easily just cut down a couple of skeletons and replace both the Blood Knights with Terrorgeists, and it would be absolutely 100% just as viable. The Kemmler thing, I mean, it is a little bit of a meme, yes, but at the same time, Krell's a pretty strong character to have for cheap, and this effect right here, this Chaos Tomb Blade effect, I am a big fan of. The fact that it resurrects dead combatants is really important, because out of all the healing effects that I've been talking about, the only ones that actually resurrect dead combatants are this Curse of Undeath and Invocation of Nehek itself. So the only time that you can get resurrection of dead combatants is through expending Winds of Magic, right? At least without the Chaos Tomb Blade. The Reliquary Binding here, if you check the actual keywords, replenishes health but doesn't resurrect dead combatants. Same thing with the Unholy Lodestone, right? Does not resurrect dead combatants. If you look, even this Master of the Undead, Master of the Dead, rather, that the Necromancers carry does not heal combatants, right? Only a few specific effects do, and the fact that Chaos Tomb Blade is a passive one that does, and it gives +5 melee attack, is actually a really, really nice item to bring. And when Kemmler's this cheap, it's not so bad if you end up losing him. And I mean, if your opponent targets him, they're kind of wasting their time and resources, like not completely, but especially if you've already used the Krell summon, it's not amazing for them to try and target you. And just in general, I think it's a decent solution. Kind of memey, yes, but does it work? Sort of, yes. I'd be curious to know if any of you guys have tried it and what your thoughts are. But anyway, that's all for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.